Are they breathing? I look, they're not breathing. I check the pulse, no pulse. You guys, my patient called me the N-word. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm the African Cherry and I'm so glad you're able to join me. Today is going to be a story time and I will be sharing my top 5 nursing horror experiences because child, your girl has been through a lot. Unfortunately, working as a nurse, every day is a new challenge. You honestly don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if your patients are going to be nice. You don't know if you're going to get emergencies. You don't know if you're going to be on your feet for 12 hours straight. Honestly, it just can be a lot. And this is very catered to me because I am a black girl in America, and I feel like with that, you know, can come some other things as well. So this might not pertain to every other nurse, but I'm just going to be sharing my personal experiences. I was at a gathering and a girl was talking about how she's considering getting into nursing, but she's just heard so many horrible things. Everybody in the hospital calls you to get to that patient. You're like literally their backbone in that hospital. So anything they need from the patient, it goes through you. So that can be a big responsibility. And I feel like some of the things they don't prepare you for in nursing school, you just have to get into the real world and experience it, and you're like, whoa. And so when she was talking, I overheard and I was like, yeah, I need to be in this conversation because I have a lot to say. Okay, the trauma is real. I shared some of my experiences with her and she was like, oh yeah, no, this is not what I want to get into. And I'm such a big advocate on people getting into something knowing 100% what they're going into. Same thing with medical school. If you're going to med school, you need to know the expectations, the demands, how rigorous it can be before you go into it. So that while you're in it, you're like, okay, yeah, this is what I signed up for. As opposed to you don't do any research, you don't know anything, and then you go into it and then you're regretting it, you're depressed, you're anxious. Story time number 1. First year as a nurse was in the pandemic, was in the height of the pandemic. I graduated 2020 December. I started working 2021 and literally that was like peak COVID. Masks up, suit up, gown, everything. Like if you're going into a patient's room, you have to be like covered, you know, and most of the patients had COVID. I was like, what is this? Like, is this what I signed up for? And I wasn't even working in the ER or ICU, you know, those more critical aspects. I was just doing rehab nursing, and like it was a lot. It's like it really was, and nothing could have prepared me for that. As a new grad, I was like, you know, chilling. I was like, okay, it's gonna be calm, but nope, it was a pandemic, and so surrounded by a lot of like just sadness and death, isolation, precautions. Like typically it's not like that. I just remembered just so many sad stories. People could not see their families. They would be calling you every day, how is this person doing, because they can't come to the hospital. I remember one time a family had to come around to the patient's window on the other side because we're on the first floor to like wave at the patient. And the horror story with this is just like the nightmares that I had for weeks, and like not being able to sleep well, even having breathing issues because I would be wearing a mask for 12 hours straight at work. I had to learn how to cope with all the anxiety and all the stress, and just like showing up strong for your patients all the time, trying to help them, especially because you know this is a very critical time and even more vulnerable than it normally would be. And so that horror story is just to show that as healthcare workers, like you can't predict how every month is going to go, every day is going to go, because you never know when there's going to be a new pandemic, a new viral illness going around, and next thing you know, there's a lot of death happening, and you just have to be strong and have to be there for people. I feel like there's a lot of propaganda going on, and also it really just highlights it. People who are from like poorer backgrounds or like don't have insurance, those people got the vaccines last, those people were more likely to not survive just because they didn't have access or money to afford the healthcare they needed at that point. So that was a very, very sad time. Story time number 2. My patient called me the N-word. Like, so this contract, I was working as a day nurse. You know, I was all happy because I am a morning person. I went into the patient's room with the tech because they had told me that this patient is kind of confused and a little combative. It's an older white man, like very old. I think it was like 80s, 90s. So I get into the room, I'm like, hey, good morning, I'm gonna be your nurse today. He's like, get out, don't touch me, you. Says the N-word. I was like, me and the tech looked at each other like did that just happen? I was shocked because actually throughout all the times I've worked, no one has ever said that to me. Like, first of all, that's unacceptable, right? I don't care if you're a patient, I don't care if you're a patient family. That's unacceptable. You don't use that word on anybody. And it's like, what have I done? I literally just said good morning. Like, I have your meds for you. I was shocked. And especially because I feel like growing up in another country, really, that was not really a thing because everyone kind of looks like you. Everyone kind of looks like me, black, you know, African, all of that. And so being here, I'm sure it's a very different experience for my friends who maybe went to college here, went to high school here. Like, but still, nobody uses that word like in their right sense. Just trying to be derogatory towards me for no good reason. I know. I was like, yeah, no, we don't do that over here, Pookie. Like, I went to my supervisor. I'm like, hey, yo, like, that patient just said that to me. And she's like, what? She's furious. She's like, oh my, why would they do that? We need to go talk to them. And also, I feel like that's so important to have. It's like supervisors or bosses that support you, that listen to you, that care for you. Because why would you lie about something like that? You know, some other people could have been like, oh, she's lying, maybe she doesn't want to take care of the patient. But it's like, I'm capable of taking care of whatever patient, you understand? But it's like, I need to feel safe as well. There's already a confused patient with dementia and Alzheimer's and very, very sick, family issues, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you gonna tell them? They're not in their right state of mind. But it just shows that rooted inwards racism or hatred that they have, because it's not something you do. So anyways, he came, spoke to him, told him, hey sir, like, that's, you know, you need to apologize. That's not something you say to someone who's trying to take care of you. This is one of our best nurses on the floor, you know. And then they also asked me, like, they were like, are you comfortable still taking care of this person? I was like, I had to think about it. I was like, if I choose to not take care of this person, they win. Like, I'm more than capable of taking care of this patient. If they have a problem with that, that's on them. There's nothing I've done to, like, prove that I cannot take care of you. I was like, no, I'll keep him. He's mine. I'll take care of him. I'll do what I have to do. But if there's any other issues, I'm gonna call you guys and you guys are gonna have to like sort that out. So that's how that happened. But that just showed me some level of growth in words, that I'm like a mature person emotionally and mentally, because something like that could have thrown someone off. But I knew this guy is not well. He's confused. I'm not gonna let that affect my day. I went home and I was like, that's so interesting. All you saw was my skin color and you decided to call me such a derogatory word. You don't know my background. I could be an African princess for God knows. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know anything about me and you're just throwing out that word. I want to believe the new generation is not like that, but I mean, you never know, right? My next horror story, oh God, it had to do with a fall. Okay, so if you know me, I'm all about patient safety. I definitely always make sure my patients are safe. I want you to feel comfortable, call me, blah, blah, blah. Literally, I had this woman, she was a new patient, new admit, got to the hospital. I literally told her the night before. I was like, oh, we're gonna be giving you pain meds and anxiety medicine. Please call us if you need to go to the bathroom, because she was independent, so she could walk, she could go anywhere by herself, right? So, but I was like, because you're on these meds, we have to be safe, we have to be careful because you have a procedure. I'm like, please call if you need to get up. Everything was fine throughout the night. In the morning, I'm trying to pass out my meds to other patients, and then the nurse comes to me and it's like, oh, your patient is very anxious about her procedure and la la la. I'm like, okay, great, I'll grab her anxiety medicine. I go into the room and everything, and we're like talking to the patient. Anyways, this lady falls. And if you know what it means to have a fall in the hospital, you know it's not just you just help them back to bed. It's like a bunch of things you need to do. You need to fill out forms, you need to check the patient for any injuries, you need to have like a staff hurdle. You need to check their vitals, blood sugar. And this was a shift change, guys. This was a shift change, meaning I was tired and I was ready to go home. I wanted to cry. Like, I actually really wanted to cry, because that's one of the worst things that can happen. You're ready to go home after 12 hours and then a fall happens and you just say, oh, it just adds another hour or two, because you need to call the doctor, you need to call their family, and I don't wish that on my worst enemy. So if you have patients, always make sure you have the bed alarms on, socks on, and just be mindful. Like, make sure they can call you, because some of these patients would just get up and go and falls are a big deal. So that was really, really like scary for me. But throughout my career, I've not had many falls. Like I said, I try to prioritize patient safety, but I just feel like sometimes patients are not compliant and things just happen. You can't control it, really. As a new nurse, having to draw like 8 people's blood in one night, in addition to your nursing task, that was always like a dreaded time for me. Especially because I wasn't good at it. Until like you would have to go in. I remember tying the tourniquet, I would see a good vein, I'm ready to go in, and then it just bursts, or like it just doesn't work, and like you have to try again. I'm like, can I please try again on this patient? The worst thing was that we had to wake them up early in the morning, so around like 3-4 a.m. is when we're going to wake people up to draw blood, because that was the only time we could do it. And like I just remember this patient like just yelling at me like, you're useless. You can't get it, go get someone that's professional, go get someone that's better. I was like, have some grace. Like, you know, I know it's not convenient, but I'm trying my best. And like that was really hard for me, because blood draws, it's like some people super easy, some people it's more technical, and that was just like what, my second month working. I'm not gonna be a pro, nobody's gonna be a pro in their second month. I eventually got really, really good at it. But it was just like, oh man, some people with their words and their insults, and I don't blame them. You know, some of them are really sick and it's hurtful, it's painful getting poked. But yeah, some of them will really insult you. Some of those patients have no filter. Like, they would insult the ish out of you. And if you don't have a backbone, you're gonna be really sad, and it's really going to affect you throughout. You have to learn to just wake up, go with the mistakes, and just learn from it. It's such a big learning curve, but you also have to be really careful with like the basic things. And that brings me to my last horror story. Oh my god. It was an emergency situation. Hi, how are you? They're not responding. I was like, God, please, God, please. So I go to the patient, because at this point you have to act fast. I go to the patient, I'm like, hey sir, like rubbing his chest, like doing the sternal rub, trying to wake them up. Mind you, I had just walked into this patient's room. That's how I found them. You have to call a code. I hit the code button immediately. I start like CPR, and everyone rushes in, and oh my god, nurses are lifesavers. Healthcare people are lifesavers. Like, we eventually resuscitated the man, and we were able to send him out to the ambulance, to the ER, because we don't know exactly what happened. But at that point, I remember the doctor was around, and like this was crazy. Like, you see a lot of these situations, and that could have gone really bad. But I'm glad I was there. I'm glad the patient got the help they needed. So that brings me to the end. Some of these horror stories happened so long ago, so it's like, oh man. I remember just the amount of work, prayers that I had to do to get through some of these situations, because some of them were actually really, really tough and really, really low moments of my life. But I'm thankful I got through it. If you're a nurse, if you're considering getting into nursing, you can do it. Just know what you're getting into. It's a very rewarding field. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope this helps somebody out there.